Welcome to the meeting place, a space where heart-centered, heart-driven women gather to connect, share, and inspire one another to awaken their joy and live a fulfilled life. Hi, I'm Michelle O'Neill, your life architect and boundaries catalyst, and I empower amazing women, amazing heart-centered women just like you to overcome life's challenges and achieve the fulfillment that you deserve. I specialize in helping the sandwich generation thrive, balancing their personal growth, legacy creation, and meaningful connections. So, why don't we collaborate to enhance your unique identity and unlock your potential for a purposeful and abundant life? I am so excited to be here today because I really want to talk about how do we bridge that digital, that chasm that's there, that actual digital divide that is happening between our aging parents and AI and the digital world. So how do we bridge it? So today I really want to talk about three specific points because this is a huge subject, and I will be I don't want to say attacking, but I will be embracing it. I will be talking about it off and on throughout the meeting place. So stay tuned. You never know when some aspect of the meeting place will be just about this, about AI, about the digital world, and how we can use it for our benefits. So the 3 points that I want to talk about today is the importance of helping our agent parents navigate the digital world. First of all, why is it important? Number two, understanding the unique challenges of our parents in the digital age. And I'm going to tell you, you may not even have thought of some of them. And number three, identifying key areas of digital assistance, how we can use the AI and the digital and technology to actually help our parents. So let's start with the importance of helping our parents navigate the digital world right now, because I want you to understand that it is multifaceted. There are so many parts of it that really makes a difference in our lives. And I know it's for them, it's fearful. Some of it sometimes is fearful. Sometimes it's just that being unknown and not understanding how it can make things better. And so we need to attack that with compassion and forward thinking approach. We want to talk to them in a way that it makes sense and it can signify significantly, I'm sorry, I'm just getting all over myself. We can significantly improve their lives in so many ways. So what are the multifaceted areas that it could help them with? Well, one, and first of all, your parents, they want to remain independent. They don't want you to do everything. They don't want to give up their dependence. They're way past that. That was when they were a child. That's what our kids are dealing with now. But our parents want to maintain their independence. They want to still be able to drive if they were driving. They still want to live in their own homes. And they don't want to feel like they have to depend on us or that we have to take care of them. So using technology is a great way of fostering their independence. By teaching our parents how to use those tools, we actually enable them to perform daily tasks on their own. We actually give them the ability to pay bills online. And this is a hard one that we're going to go in a little deeper. I struggle with this one myself with my mom. It's just the difference of walking into the bank, which they've done all their lives, and now doing it with a machine and never talking to no one, never building that relationship. How about helping them to shop, not having to drive into the store, not having to do those things, or accessing the news and being up to date on what's going on? And then there's also the staying informed about their health. A lot of them, their doctors want to send them an email or have them sign up for this or remind them of their appointment for this. And And they're just not used to that because that's not the way it was done. It used to be done. What happened to the human touch? It used to be done with a phone call. It used to be done with a conversation. And so that is totally foreign from for our parents, that now things are done through technology. So there are pluses and minuses to it. But right now is something that we just have to make them comfortable with. And I don't want to say make, but help them get comfortable with. And that gives them more time to do the things that they love the most. It's a sense of autonomy that can lead to increased self-confidence, a feeling that they don't have to depend on us. And it's a feeling of empowerment for them. Hey, I can take care of this on my own, or at least I know it's being taken care of. And so there are so many ways that I could share on doing this, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. There are all things, also things of reducing isolation. You know, when you have a lot of these tools, like remember during COVID when it was at its height, and the only way we could communicate with people was through Zoom or the phone, and how important it came to for those who had the iPhone to use FaceTime, or how to learn Google Meet, or how to use Alexa. And I hope she didn't come on, so let me tell her right now, Alexa, stop. There we go, because she's in the room with me and she's listening. So by simply introducing them to social media or video call platforms, like I just said, Google Meet, or online communities of their people, you know, maybe a senior community, maybe their senior, what do you call it? Their senior center is now meeting part in person and part online. And so some of their classes are online now, and they don't have to make that trip, especially for those who are, you know, more confined to their homes, or they're walking, or things isn't as good as it used to be, but they can still be a part of what's going on. And it also enhances their cognitive function. It is engaging with technology. It can actually serve as a form of mental stimulation for our parents, because that is so true. See, she's still listening to me. Alexa, stop. There you go. Now she'll stop listening. But the thing is, it's a way that they can play games and do things to keep sharp, because we don't want to stop using our brains and stop doing those things. So they can learn new skills, how to do new things. My mom, she loves to talk to her girl, you know what I'm talking about, right? About recipes, or about the weather, or tell her a joke. There are all sorts of things. Play some music that she hadn't heard in a long time and she wants to listen to. You know, just get a podcast or whatever. But there are so many ways that we can use technology to bring goodness into our lives. And so engaging with online content can actually help keep their minds sharp. And so that's another thing. How about facilitating telemedicine? Now, that was a new one to get used to, right? So, in this increasing digital healthcare landscape, being comfortable with technology, it actually enables our parents to have visual consultations and feel like they're getting what they need from their doctor. Is having those conversations and not feeling rushed, but being able to ask the questions that are foremost in their mind. Is being able to access their medical records, with a lot of times they didn't even do, or just said, hey, the doctor has it. They're able to be more engaged and a part of their medical care. They can stay informed about their health, ask questions. There's a nurse that's a reach of a phone call, or just a reach of a chat, in reach of a chat. So when they're not sure about their medicine, or what can be taken with what, or why are they feeling this way? Is this something I should go into the doctor for? Sometimes that's just a phone call away. And it leads to better health care outcomes and increases the convenience for both our parents and for us. because we know they're taken care of and that we can actually be a part of it. And so right now, when my mother makes an appointment, I also get the notification that her appointment is when it is. And so if she forgets, I can remind her, hey, mom, you know your appointment is so and so. She's always saying, yeah, I know it's on the calendar. So she's good about that. And then we can promote safety and security with all the scams and the telephone scams, the email scams, and all those things going out today. As our parents become more proficient in using technology, they understand what the scams are. They can take advantage of the tools that enhance their safety, such as emergency response systems. I know you've seen the commercial that says, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. You know, that's real. If your parent lives alone, how would you feel if they fell and they couldn't get in contact with someone? They couldn't reach the phone and they're there for hours. But knowing that just at a push of a button or hit on a button that they would be able to be taken care of, help would be on the way. How about GPS tracking devices when they're in their cars and they get confused on the highway, not quite sure if this is the way they should go? Why? Because the roads have changed. They weren't the same as they were a couple of years ago when they went that way. It's not that they're senile or it's just that things are different. And so when your environment changed, don't you need time to get used to it, to get acclimated to it and relearn it again? So having a simple thing like a GPS helps them navigate that confusion at that time. And how about medication reminder apps? You know, as we get older, we have to take we don't have to. I would hope we don't. But for some of us, because of the changes in our bodies, we're taking more medicine. And I'm telling you, who can remember what needs to be taken when? I have to take something in the morning and something in the evening, and I divide it like that. But some of our parents have to take multiple medications at different times. And wouldn't you feel more comfortable? And wouldn't they feel more comfortable if there was something that reminded them it's 12 o'clock, take your blood pressure medicine? Or it's 2 p.m., take the blue pill. These are things that help them have a great, what's the word I'm looking for? A great life. I know there's a particular word I'm looking for, and you could probably tell me if you remember, if you know the word I'm hunting for, tell me in the comments below. But yes, these things can help them have a better quality. That's what it was, a better quality of life. And so now I want to move on to my second part is now that we understand why it's so important to bring all this stuff into their life. Now, what about understanding the unique challenges that our parents have in this digital age? And it starts with understanding this isn't what they grew up with. At least we grew up with the Commodore computer or better ones, but I had the Commodore computer. And so I understand a little bit about computers. I understand I grew up as technology grew, I grew with it. And because I love technology, I'm a techie girl. But because I love it, I continue to learn day in and day out. I still seek out technology. I love AI. And I'm learning about that and everything that it does and how long I've been using it. Didn't even realize how long I have been using it, but I've been using it for years. I just didn't call it AI. And if you're not sure what AI is, it's artificial intelligence. It's what your girl over here is. It's what Google is and Siri, all those things. is what the Ring is, Ring doorbell, and there is so much. It's Roomba. My mother uses Roomba to go about the house and clean for her, do the vacuuming for her. And so our parents face several unique challenges in the digital age as they struggle to adapt to the rapid evolution of technology. And it's increasingly important for them to understand how it plays into their daily life. And so I want to familiarize you with some of the challenges that they may be struggling with, and some you may not even think about. But it is that digital literacy gap. You know, many of the older adults did not grow up, like I said, with our same exposure. Think about your kids and how easy it is for them to adapt and learn something. How your 2-year-old or your 3-year-old can actually look at the computer and show you how to use it. How your 17-year-old can code and build small AI devices themselves. And so there's a difference based on when you grew or became acclimated to this technological, what's the word? This technology age. Technological, that's what I'm trying to say, age. And so as younger generations, we have to create, or how do we say, we have to bridge that digital legacy gap with our parents, because it's a lack of familiarity that can be difficult for them to understand and use the new devices and applications and platforms. And I tell you right off the bat, they don't want to learn everything. So the first thing is to tell them what this thing does, and then ask them, are you interested in knowing more? First, my mom did not want to know anything about Facebook. I'm not going to get on it. I don't want to know anything about it. But you know what? Now she likes being on it, not to interact with everybody, but to know what's going on in our lives, so that she doesn't have to ask us anymore, what's so-and-so doing? Did you see pictures of the babies? What are they doing? So we want to make it more familiar with them so that they can understand and start using those devices. One of the other things is their fear of technology. They may feel intimidated or overwhelmed by the complexity of modern technology. Do you know how hard it is for someone to understand a computer? Just a simple thing as checking their email and deleting. And if you don't take the time to explain that to them, they are totally confused and overwhelmed. My mother actually hates going on the computer to do her email. She'd rather check it on her phone. Because if you accidentally click this button or click this, all of a sudden the email disappears and she doesn't know where it is. And so taking the time to understand where their fear is, where they feel overwhelmed, and deciding if that's something they really want to overcome, or is there a simple way to do it? And that fear can actually hinder their willingness to learn and adapt. And it creates a barrier to actually them embracing digital technology. And so, how do I say, it doesn't help to push. It doesn't help to push them to do something when they're not comfortable with it. All that does is it erects a brick wall. I really don't know why she is still on. Alexa, stop. She just wants to listen to me. Okay. Well, she can listen to us in this live too. And unfortunately, I just want you to know that today I could not be there in person, but I will be I will be watching the chat and commenting. But I felt this was so important. And so I will live stream this, but I am not really physically there. And I don't want to be dishonest or you feel like I'm tricking you or anything. So I am there, but not physically. The other thing is accessibility issues. You know, adults, our older adults may face physical challenges that make it difficult for them to use technology. Things that you probably didn't even think about, like declining vision. Just doing simple things as making the words bigger so they can see them, but declining hearing, making sure it's loud enough, or declining fine motor skills. Can they touch that? Can their fingers do those little movements? Can it turn that little button? Maybe the buttons need to be bigger. But these issues can make it challenging to actually navigate the small screens or decipher tiny text or operate touch screens and keyboards. There are actually keyboards that have larger space between the keys. And so these are things to think about. Do you want cords on it? Do you want it to be cordless? And explaining the difference between when it has a cord and when it's cordless. And yes, it can still talk to the computer. And if it stops, why? Make sure those lines are always open to your parents so they can make that phone call. You know, for us, I can even do remote into my mother's computer if she needs me. But I also respect her privacy by having to tell her, Mom, turn on your computer and give me permission to get in. She is still in control of that operation. And I want her to feel secure that I'm not taking her independence away from her. There are also security and privacy concerns that our parents may not be aware of the potential risk of associated with using different technology, the way that there are hackers and identity theft and scams or malware. And so one of the first things I tell everybody, don't click on nothing. If you're not sure, call me. I don't care what it says, call me. And she does. She says, this thing popped up and it says, and I says, don't touch it. Click the X. So that happens. But this lack of awareness put them at greater risk for falling victims to online threats. And so when you learn things, make sure you share it with them. They may be getting older, but they're not getting senile. They're not losing their minds. They can still think. They can still process. Maybe not at the ability that they used to. Give them that option. Respect that. Another thing is social isolation and the more interactions and communications that shift online, they struggle with technology because that's not, remember I just talked about going to the bank, going to the grocery store, going to a senior event. That's the way they grew up. And I'm telling you, there is nothing like still real physical being in the presence of other people. Even though you can see them, even though you're talking to me online, there's nothing like us being sitting across from each other and really having a conversation. I can touch you and say, girl, you know that's right. Or we can be laughing at something and say, I know, right? So they may experience increased feelings of isolation because they're not around other people and they may be the only one home or only two people. And that's all the conversation when they're used to having conversations with other people. I'm always encouraging my mom to still go out. I love when she says, oh, I was out in the stores today. Oh, I rode over, and she rides over and visits her friends. She actually physically rides and goes to their homes and visit them. And I'm glad she still does that because it keeps her active and she's involved. She goes and she takes care of her friends if they need her help. And I love that. And so if they stay 100% online, like we had to for 2 years, almost three, you get used to that and you're less likely to connect with your friends and family and community resources. And so that's why one of the first things I did is I made sure all our conversations are where we can see each other. And now if I call her on the phone and she didn't see me, she goes, "Why you call me on the phone? I can't see you." And I'm like, "Mom, you don't need to see me for every conversation. I want to see your face." And then if we're talking on the phone and we are on Google Meet, she actually says, "How come I can't see your full face? How come I'm looking at the stuff?" And she has to see my full face. She has to see my expression. And I realize how important that is to her. And I'm good with it. And so, with the rapid pace of technology advancement, it can make it challenging to keep up with the latest devices and software. And just because we always want the latest iPhone or the latest this or the latest that does not mean our parents do. They want to stick with what they're comfortable with. And if you're going to introduce something new to them, before you buy it, talk it through. That constant change can be frustrating and disheartening because it's another thing that they have to figure out and learn that does not make sense to them. And it makes it difficult for them to stay engaged. It becomes something they don't want. And then limited access to resources and report. Our parents may not have access to the resources and support that they necessarily need to learn about technology. I'm always encouraging my mother to get involved in community programs at the senior citizen. I know they teach classes on computer. And she goes, "But you can teach me." And I said, "Mom, I am not the one. You need someone who's not a family member to teach you about the computer." She gets it. But they can take classes and one-to-one assistance. There are so many programs to help them. Just make sure you vet those programs and you understand what they're teaching you. And then there's misconceptions and stereotypes. Society often perpetuates these stereotypes about older adults being incompatible or unwilling to learn new technology. No, they're unfamiliar. But there are a lot of older adults in my family who love technology and they're interested. They may not get it all the time, but they still want to know. And so it behooves us to cultivate the patience to sit there and explain it to them. And sometimes when you get into explaining it to them, they go, "Okay, I don't need to know that much. Just we cool." And they realize they don't want to go that far. But go ahead and take the time to teach them. Because these misconceptions can discourage our parents from trying new things and embracing the digital tools. And it could all be based around fear. And finally, on that, understanding the unique challenges that they have, I want to talk about balancing technology use with traditional activities. We just talked a little bit about that our parents may struggle to find a balance between using technology and engaging in the traditional activities that they always enjoy, such as reading a physical book. When's the last time you read a physical book? Audible and Kindle are my best friend, and Audible is really my really best because of my life, my busy lifestyle, When I'm working out, that's when I read a book. When I'm taking a walk, that's when I read a book. Because that's the time that I have. And not many of us have time to sit down or take the time to actually sit down and read a book. But my mom, she still loves reading a book, but she reads her book on a Kindle tablet. And all she does is she calls me and she says, "Hey, get me some more books." And I do for her. She tells me what kind she want to read. I look them up and she gets them, and great. And things like spending time outdoors, you can't do that on a computer. And I know Peloton and all them got there where you can see the great outdoors while you're walking on the machine and all. But it ain't the same as smelling that fresh air, looking at those flowers, hearing the sounds of the birds. And so there's some things technology just can't make the same. And then I want to talk about my final point, because I don't want to hold you here longer. But I hope I've given you something to think about. And that's identifying the key areas that we can help them with digital assistance. Our parents often require assistance in various areas of technology to help them actually navigate the digital world with ease. And there are some key areas that they may need this support. Things like online banking. You know, many of our parents struggle with maintaining their finances online. Like I said, they're used to going in the bank. Things like checking account balances and transferring money and paying bills. And you try to call the bank and you try to go in the bank, and what's the first thing they say? You can do it online. Well, I don't want to do it online. I've been coming into this bank for the last 30 years. Why do I have to do it now online? But sometimes if you just take the time to show your parent the benefits of being online, that when they can't make it to the bank, they can check it here. You know, sometimes they're willing to embrace that. But show them the benefits of doing things like I said, transferring money and paying bills online, or setting up automatic payment so the things that you like to do, you don't have to worry about paying them anymore. You know that it's automatically taken care of. How about telemedicine? Remember, I just talked about that. And with the rise of virtual healthcare, our parents may need support in using the telemedicine services. I needed a little help on that one. It's like, why don't I have to go here to access what you did with, when you took my blood? But I love it now. I know I don't have to wait for the doctor to call me, that the laboratory that took care of my blood and everything has already uploaded everything in my record. And I know it's secure and nobody can get in it but me. And I can see now. I don't have to wait till I go to the doctor. And so just having those things at our fingertips, being able to access our history. But our parents may need help setting those accounts, scheduling appointments, navigating video consultations with their healthcare providers. And those are things that we can teach them. We can remove the fears for them, and we can help them with. We can also help them with communication tools like email. Remember, I just talked about that. Video chat, Zoom, FaceTime, Google Meet, whatever it is that you use. Instant messaging, how to use your I know I keep talking about my mom and I love her dearly, but she is always saying something popped up on my phone and I know it's a message and now I can't find that message. I love it. And so we just walk through, okay, mom, what did you text? Just go to the message thing. But it's having that patience and just taking the time to teach them and walk through it for them, because it is new. What if you had to learn how to sew? If I went in there right now and my mom pulled out her sewing machine, she had to walk me through the whole process. Okay, we got to thread the needle. Fortunately, I do know how to sew. But let's say my granddaughter went and grandma wanted to teach her how to sew. No, baby, we got to put the machine up here. And you got to thread the needle. But now my mom even know how to thread the needle digitally. The thing is, they're learning and they will learn if there's a desire there. Helping them with online shopping and delivery services. I am forever using your girl, not actually her, but their company. When my mom wants something and she says, I can't find it at a store, let's check. You know who I'm talking about. And we check it. I said, Mom, I have it sent to you. I said, oh, it'll be there tomorrow. She says, great, thank you. In fact, I think there's something I need to order for her. Or did she get it? I need to call her. And so helping them with those shopping platforms and grocery delivery. But my mom still loves going to the grocery store because that's her exercise and she gets to pick out her food and she gets to have conversations with people. And then meal kit providers doing things like Hello Fresh or Hungry Root is You, whatever. But doing those things, giving that option. We've actually ordered meals in sometime for my mom just as a treat, just as a Mother's Day thing, having a special meal. But this can help them maintain their independence and access essential goods without needing to leave their home if they can't. Helping them with health and wellness apps. We talked about some that they could use, but things for tracking their medication, monitoring their vital signs, or staying active. These are ways that we can help optimize their life. We can enhance their lifestyles because they have the devices and tools to help them stay healthy. And then some home automation, smart devices that we can use to help them navigate things within their homes, knowing that their home is secure, being able to watch the monitoring with them, and them knowing that you can see too. Just different things around their homes to help them, like voice assistants and smart thermostats and lighting systems when they're not there or before they walk in the room. My mother loves that now when she walks up the stairs, there's a light that comes on so she's not walking up in the dark or whatever, just that extra security, that extra peace, that peace of mind. And then I want to talk finally about online safety and security, that it is essential to educate our parents about online safety, including things like strong passwords, how to recognize a scam, and using security software. The difference between Norton and McAfee and which one would be better and why this one does this. Only how deep as they want to go. They don't have to understand everything. Sometimes they just want to know the big picture. And they just want you to answer the question, how is this going to help me? What's it going to do for me? And so I want to thank you. I hope that you have found this inspirational and you have found some knowledge to guide you and your aging parent through this digital maze, and doing it while nurturing that beautiful connection between the two of you and within your family. Remember, empowering our loved ones in the tech savvy world, which I love, is an act of love and a gateway to actually creating unforgettable memories and leaving a meaningful legacy. And I will be talking about how you can do this later. There is so much I want to share with you. And so what's next? I want to invite you to dig deeper, dive deeper into this journey with me of becoming a a part of this warm, heart-driven community of phenomenal women, and together we'll navigate the ups and downs of the sandwich generation and fostering personal growth and caregiving and purpose and building unshakable connections. See, when I get excited, I just can't talk. But I want to ask you, are you ready to embark on this life-changing adventure? If you are, just comment in the comments below, I'm ready. And I'll send you the link to where you can join this community. If I remember, I'm going to put it in the link below. But all you have to do is say, I'm ready. And let's make a difference in our families and in the world around us. You are amazing. You do amazing things. And you are leaving an amazing legacy. Until next time. Whew. Thank you for being here with me on the meeting place. Take care.